Hey, this is Mako and we're going to go into Valkyrie today. Now this is a 4.0 build, so this is a little more advanced. Just thought I would point that out. It requires one forma and one exidus slot. Now let's get into some of the weapons. I've got a Supra, my beloved Supra. I totally love this rifle and have used it in numerous gameplay and endgame without much issue really. Next up, we've got the Sancti Cast. I can't even say the bloody name, but these are an explosive type throwing dagger. You throw it, they stick to an object and explode. Next up is the Broken War with a Crimson Dervish stance. Very fun weapon, very destructive, and probably the most OP single sword. Now we're going to grab a few enemies and do a little show and tell with these Sancti. I first got these because I'm a new Loka, master rank. I've been, just trying to up my mastery rank a bit and thought these were kind of fun to try. People said they weren't that good. But no, in a couple of shots I've just taken out a group of 70s. Pretty easy and effectively. Yeah, so they were quite, surprising for what they were. I'm gonna actually try a bunch more of the secondaries from syndicates, see how they stack in use. The Supra, of course, still pretty good. I hate the ancients. Everybody who watches my vids knows I really despise these guys just because they do that grabby thing. Supra, I did a little different than normal. I sped up the rate using a fire rate augment, which was, I think, can't remember the name offhand, but I'll show it off, so don't feel too rushed. Now, Valkyr's big claim to fame is she is probably the best survivable warframe in game, and by survivable I mean you become a living juggernaut that is unkillable as long as you have energy. You get damage buffs, and you can clearly see how much damage I am doing, which is pretty ridiculous. So, she's fun, plus I love the skin. Let's not lie, the Germicide skin, which by the way also means Valkyrie, translated, is pretty well designed and was really well sought after when it was first released. Now with these enemy types, you just suck them in with your third power. Usually I'll activate my third power, then my secondary as per needed if an enemy is just inching away a little too much like that. See, bring him to you, shred him, and you get a damage multiplier on that. It's pretty nice. Now, when you do this hold attack, you can pretty much instantly kill a 70, 80, 100, it doesn't matter. It does so much damage, it's pretty ridiculous. I find myself doing the hold attacks a lot more than I used to, especially with her ever since they've been introduced to be charge attacks, I think is a proper term. Now, our charge attack is pretty fun, but if an enemy is doing a slam attack, they will be immune to it, or at least to the knockdown effect that does the full kill attack, see? Just like that, but then if you wait a sec, kill it. Why wait? Because you're Valkyrie, you don't care. Enemies can't kill you anyway. Now, we're going to get into something called focus here. This is called the Naramon path, and it's pretty useful. It's kind of like Nyx's, make enemies get confused and kill each other. But here's its passive, invisibility. Now, not just invisibility, it's invisibility plus heightened critical attack rate. So, you will critical by 15% more baseline, and you'll have 6 seconds of invisibility per critical. That's pretty nice sounding if you're one of those type like me who favor critical builds. I tend to favor critical status builds just because I find them more useful. In all honesty, I call this the Shadow Claw Valkyrie because you're using Shadow Step, which is a passive, which when activated in a mission lasts the entire mission. Once Naramon has been activated, you get basic invisibility every time you do a critical hit with a melee. And with Valkyrie, you're doing nothing but criticals, so you're pretty much always invisible. Now this could be said also for Excalibur and Wukong. Oh, that was a weird glitch. Didn't see that coming. Okay. Now, Supra is still probably one of my favorites because it has AoE, magnetic, which strips shields. I built it for corrosive, and overall it's pretty effective. Getting energy, whatnot. Let's see how these Sancti work. One of the things I like about these is not only can you throw them on enemies, you can also stun lock them with them, because their innate power is electric, shock, whatever. And you just come up and bash them to death. Also, invisibility. And Crimson Dervish has a pretty high amount of time doing finishers, so with this build, you've got some serious damage on your side. Because, let's face it, Crimson Dervish is still my all-time favorite. Vengeful Reven is fun to collect, but offhand, sell it for like 1,000 plat. Laugh that people want it, and then go on. Now it does have damage modifiers, but in all honesty, it's nothing like Crimson Dervish. The only thing I find it's more useful at is just lunge attacks. Now I personally do not have Vengeful Reven, but a friend of mine who is a vet does, so I have gotten a chance to just, see how it worked. Offhand, I still like Crimson Dervish, just because it matches my playstyle. Now I have adjusted this a couple times. You can give these faster light speed, which does help, but it's a lot of guesstimate work. You can guess when it's in midair and close to an enemy, then detonate it and stun lock, blast, or whatever. Now let's go into these builds. Man, I love the skin. Just so pretty. Really well done skin, I'm sorry. Just one of my things I like are some of these deluxe skins. Now, here's my Broken War. Broken War is given to you after completion of the second dream, as is the focus power. I really would suggest Naramon if you're into criticals. If not, the I can't remember its name. Phoenix Gaze is another one I've done, as well as Zerkri. I can't say it offhand. It has Umber Lance, a lot of void-based power. There's also one that stuns enemies. Those are pretty good. Yeah, the Sancti Casti, I have replaced a couple of things every now and then, just for, as I said, flight speed, but overall, speed trigger, that was the one I was trying to remember. Now, here's the build. It's pretty nice. Pretty simple. Steel Charge plus Goatian Drift, that's 15% of the 60, so that's 60 times 1.15. And then whatever that multiplies out to be, that is actually what has been affecting your melee attacks, which includes Valkyr's Hysteria, as well as Broken War's Crimson Dervish, which leads to some very serious damage. And with Rage giving you energy per hit that you take, if you're ever low, you can just quickly grab it. I'm just going to move some stuff around so you can see some benefits here. Now I know it's around here somewhere. There we go. So this is just another alternative build if you didn't have some of these mods. This build is pretty self-explanatory. There's not much you can go wrong with on a Valkyrie. The main thing is to buff up her damage a bit, and to get the two mods, which is Prolonged Paralysis and Eternal Wall. Prolonged Paralysis, I swear that's a tongue twister, sucks enemies into you while giving them 200% stun lock time, which is very nice, while also opening them up to finishers. Whereas Eternal War is every time you kill an enemy with a melee attack, i.e. Hysteria, i.e. you're invisible if you have Naramon path, is forever. Infinite stealth. By the way, the invisibility done by the Naramon path is not affected by nullifiers, which is really nice because you can just basically, if you do pop in while you're invisible, you can quickly kill a null and then go back into Hysteria and go back on your rampage of Juggernaut stealth attacks with a 4 times modifier to that damage. So, take that as you will. I hope you enjoy the build, and thanks for watching. Bye.